Hello everybody, I hope I'm audible right now, and let's just simply get started. First of all, we will get a few things done on Excalidraw clone, and after that we'll switch to working on Google Meet clone project. And again, it's gonna be around probably 1.5 an hour long live, because half an hour for Excalidraw and remaining 1 hour for Google Meet. But let's see how it's gonna be going on. And if needed, we are gonna be giving them 2 hours daily. Uh, let's see how it goes. If we feel like working on the projects further after that event, so we will, as simple as that. So here we are, Excalidraw. Let's just simply, first of all, there are a few things that are yet left, so let's just simply get them done. Mm. So what about right now? That is gonna be Docker desktop start. I did update this. Never mind, we'll see. Docker start PostgreSDB and bundle. Alrighty, this is how this simply goes on, and we definitely have to work on this particular section where we have to just rename, duplicate, delete the boards and all. So this is something that is yet to be done, and apart from this particular thing, it's quite a big one, isn't this? Yeah, but we can actually work on it later in the future. As for right now, this is completely fine, but later we definitely need to create more components. So this is the pane section. Then we have the board name input taking with truncate. That is fine. When it comes to truncate it, so whenever we are just simply mentioning the board names, so this we have this truncate over here, so it just simply automatically works if it goes beyond a particular width. Alrighty, and this makes sense. Alrighty, let's just simply go on. The next thing that we actually have to work on, that is the cut, copy and paste functionality. Hopefully that's gonna be quick. Localhost 3000 this, and especially this actually needs to be the dashboard section. And when it comes to cut, copy and paste functionality, so we already have the clipboard interaction over here, and clipboard actions, types and use clipboard. Read write, we already have them. Use clipboard is here. Get duplicated group ID, that is fine. So ultimately we are returning copy shapes, cut shapes and paste shapes, right? So let's see if they work directly. Hopefully the logic is right. So that actually needs to be part of these components, canvas and context menu. That was selected context menu, and quite a big one, but okay, never mind. Const clipboard use clipboard that's in fact use clipboard. So why am I not getting any suggestion? Loading it. Okay, here we are. So we have the clipboard in here. Once we actually have the clipboard, so clipboard dot cut shapes, then clipboard dot copy shapes and clipboard dot paste shapes in here. So let's see whether it works. And apart from this particular thing, empty canvas menu, and we are gonna have the same here as well. So const clipboard is gonna be equals to use clipboard, and once we actually have it, so clipboard and paste shapes are actually gonna be here. In fact, it's gonna be pretty straightforward. That is it. Let's see. So if I actually go to new board or any other board, that doesn't really matter. So we have it here, and now what have let me as for the renaming thing, we will work on it later soon. This is not bad. So what we'll do, that we'll just simply copy this. Once it's actually copied, let me paste it in here. So well, that doesn't really work as expected. So what is happening in here, that is there is an issue. Update shape does not really work for this one. And why is that so? Update shape does not work, and the reason is that Prisma shape update an operation failed because it depends on one or more records that were required but not found. No records found for an update. So whenever we are trying to update, we are not passing the required so Prisma shape update. Okay, probably the page ID needs to be there. Could be. So let me see. Cut is okay. Paste is also, cut is also fine, right? Isn't that? So this is it. If you just simply cut this, it is gone. If I reload this, so that's still here. So cutting is also something that's problematic, isn't that? Interesting. That doesn't work either. So let's just first of all focus on the copy shape. So when it comes to copying it, so we are gonna be getting all selected shapes, copied shapes, image assets, just doing this, and then copy image assets, then writing it to the clipboard. So we are writing these to the clipboard. Copied shapes and copied image assets. We have these two in here. So if I just simply copy this, we have it here. Assets, there are none, but when it comes to a particular shape, so we have this thing here. Alrighty, so at this level we have z index, width, height, and all these things. We have the frame, page ID even is there, ID is there. Page ID, that's gonna be 00, and that is right, working. And when it comes to the data, so there is this frame, and these things are here, that is also okay. Appearance, so some appearance related data is here, so that is ideally fine. Hmm. That is okay. Now if we actually duplicate that, so paste, so this is the error that I actually get. Internal error. And when it comes to the payload, so this was actually sent in there, page ID. So if this does not works, if I delete this, let's delete everything from here. Hopefully that's deleted. Yeah, that is. So how does the updation works for this one? Because even with this one here, whenever we are updating this is the payload that's actually being sent from here, and we still have the page ID, right? Create a frame. Once the frame is created, we are able to send both. We are sending the page ID. So at this point of time it works. The only problematic thing is that when we just cut this, and even I'm not sure if cutting works, because if I reload the page, wait for a while, I still get the shape here. So even when I cut it, how can it work? Or let me do one thing, if it can actually complete this part. Emergent. I was working with this one only 3 hours back, alright. So let's do it, probably here. Complete this, and that is it. I'm just completing this, should be enough, because it would already have the idea about the things, because this is the history of the same section. So completing in the sense, when cut what it got done, or asking questions. Doesn't it know that? Make sure that when we cut, paste, changes are reflected in the DTL. Well, what is your API function for updating the bulk serving shapes? Update shape API. This is the one. Does your page or board have an API call or auto save mechanism whenever set shapes runs, or should we call an API mutation directly? Does your page or board have an API call or auto save mechanism that syncs shapes array whenever set shapes runs? Uh, let's see what it actually does in here. Otherwise we'll have to make the changes manually. Let's see. Based on the code that we actually got, let's see if everything is actually covered in there or not. Let's go to the top. First of all, copy shapes. Copying no problem as such. When it comes to using update shapes, it should be delete shapes API, because at the end of the day we want to remove this or delete this shape. So page ID, and I even need to have the ID, so they are gonna be the selected IDs. Oh come on, you got to be kidding me. Alrighty, so this should be fine synced with the database. Simply making a request in there. Then when it comes to pasting that, so we are definitely gonna be creating it as well. So ये तो हद है भाई. when I'm pasting, right, clipboard ये सारा का सारा, then duplicating the shapes and then just simply running it in here. At that time I'm in fact creating a shape, so whatever shapes are pasted, the creation should run. Something like this. Let me see if it works or not. So if I just cut this and reload the page, I got that back. If I move it, that is moved, so it is sort of working well. If I paste it again, I got it in here, and here we are. Well, that is problematic. Pasting the shapes again and again is problematic. Pasting the shape once is not. Let me see. When I pasted the shape for the first time, no issues. When I pasted the page here for the first time, if there are other shapes, then it is problematic. दिक्कत क्या है? B for bottom, U for up. Unique constraint violation. Unique constraint failed on the field ID. So await Prisma shape, create many and return. So the ID that is being sent. In fact, when we are pasting, so we need to have a new ID. And this is for the image assets, this is for the shape, so shape.id uuid v4, so this is definitely being created. So the clone id is gonna be shapes.getId, this and after that the frame ID, that's gonna be clone.frame ID, and then this, that is also fine. Return the clone from here. That should ideally be okay. But the error is that unique constant failed on the ID. Probably that ID already exists in there. In that case, let me do one thing. Another bold altogether, that would be better. Compiling the dashboard. Let's just simply wait for a sec. I'm gonna be switching on the fan as well. Ignore the noise around, around. Here we are, and this is actually gonna be new board altogether. I created a shape. I cut this, I pasted this. If I paste it again, that becomes problematic, as if this ID already exists in there. Forget about this. Here we are. Copy. Any problem? Creating itself is a problem. Unique constant violation. Unique constants failed on the field's ID. So it simply means the ID is the same. Why is that so? So whenever we are pasting something, we are regenerating the IDs, aren't we? So use clipboard. Read from the clipboard, if not return. Otherwise we have these. This should be fine. What is the issue? we have updated shapes in here, and clipboard dot shapes. No problem as such with this. We can even duplicate this. No problem with the duplicating stuff as well. And if we just simply copy them, no problem with this as such. We paste them. That is where we get these shoes. Coming back to this, we have these two shapes. This is the first one. Wow. 37, 2C, 29 and 2D. So we have the old shapes as well. That is the problematic thing. So updated shapes. This is the interesting stuff. New shapes need to be passed in here. Alrighty, hopefully this is gonna be right this time. Create a selection, so they are sort of a selection right now. If we just simply copy them, paste them, here they are, and now no errors as such, and that's what we wanted, this kind of behavior. And once we have this, we can in fact create a frame. So now they are part of a frame altogether. As for this one, we can give them proper style, and here we are. So great. So we are able to do what? Let me see if it is actually working or not, because we haven't checked this with the frame. So let me create another frame. So this is the top level frame. Come on. है भाई, दिक्कत क्या है? Okay. Here we have this. Okay, now we are able to resize this. Alright, so suppose this is what we have right now, and let me make it a bit bigger, sort of like this. So this is something that we have right now. What is the next thing? The next thing is actually just copying everything. This works, and in fact this also works. So this thing is done. We can even paste it again. So if I just simply move it somewhere else and paste it here again, so this thing is working as expected. Now we can actually in fact create another page, and that's gonna be the new page, and I'll paste it in here. So this pasting related stuff still works. let's go to the new board altogether. So this time let's go to this board, and let's create another page here. So new page, and let's try pasting this stuff. Pasted, and we are still able to move the things here and there. That's what we wanted, right? So this thing works. We are able to like copy paste in the same board, in the same page, then in a different page altogether, plus in a different board altogether. So this is something that we are able to do. And apart from this particular thing, what am I missing? This thing is done, that is good. Anything else? Cut, copy, paste, that is done. Yeah, checking whether this image related stuff actually works or not. So image test, let's create another page. Here we don't have anything. Let me insert the images. So let me insert these 3 images. So these are the 3 images that we have in here. So that is good. So we have these 3 images. I'm still wondering, let me delete them. Like when I uploaded them, I should be getting the result quickly. It takes it doesn't take some time. It just happens when we click. So this is something we have to fix. So yeah, come on, think about it. First of all, let's fix this part. So the problem is that whenever I load the image, so unless I click, that doesn't appear, and as soon as we click, that does appear again. So this is again a bug that we have to fix. Why is this happening? Image upload, and how can we check this thing now? So whenever we upload an image, so that doesn't get invalidated, if I'm not wrong. I'm not sure what the problem is right now. So we will in fact have to go through everything. Handle input change, this gets called, and image manager preload, we have this image map in here, and this just simply gets saved in there. This is fine, this is also fine. Invalidating this, creating the new shapes, uploading them, that is also fine. This is the interesting stuff here. So not this one, this one, CLG image map, and image map is actually sent to the image manager. Let me remove some of the logs. Console log. Alrighty, this seems to be fine. And now let's log this value. Which one is that? We are gonna be logging this one in here, the page number 99. Load the page. Let's wait for it to be loaded. Okay, finally it didn't really get anything but kept loading. We have the render URL in here. Okay, if we actually have the render URL, so that render URL must have been saved, reloaded ultimately. So image manager, so at that point of time we just pass the image map over here, we get all the values, and we just call load. Once load actually gets called, so over here what are we actually doing, that cache ref dot current dot get, if that exists, if that does exist, and the status is loaded, in that case await cache image decode, then this. So if that actually exists already, so we are gonna make sure that that is present to be, that can directly be used. Hence we are decoding it. So the decode method of HTML element interface returns a promise that is resolved once the image is decoded and is safe to be appended to the DOM. So this makes sure that that is ready to be appended to the DOM. And if that does not exist, so in that case asset URL or the public URL, that is also fine. New image is gonna be created, cache current set, so that is gonna be set. Status is definitely gonna be loading image, image dot decode, and once everything is done, so cache ref dot get asset ID, if entry is present, then entry dot status is gonna be loaded. So it's gonna be like this. So ultimately this is actually gonna be saved inside cache ref, as simple as that. Image manager, and we have the load, we have preload, and we have this get that simply gets the image from the cache ref. Now coming back to this, if we actually go to draw image ultimately, so we got the image manager. Once we got the image manager, so we got this cached image. If cache not cache or cache that is not loaded, we return, otherwise do this. Cached. We have image and that is loaded. So cache.image, what is this at the end of the day? It has this base URI. It has current source, blob, HTTP, localhost, and this. So it should ideally be fine. I am missing something. That simply means if we have the image, then the page is not getting invalidated. Image manager, draw the image. So ultimately we have the assets here, so file array.map render URL, and this is just simply returned. As for the upload, things get saved in there, and once they get saved, promise all, then this is returned as the function, so it actually needs to be called. So assets dot for each add image, that just simply gets added. Create image assets. Creating the image assets. Invalidating this set shapes. Something is missing, not sure what that is. The next time it gets invalidated, that simply means URL is definitely there. It's just about invalidation at the right time. It has the image ID. In the data there's just the image ID, that is it, nothing else. Using the image ID you should be able to find that. So what next? What am I missing? I'm not sure. So whenever we invalidate, let me see. Yeah, if they are actually getting, that's definitely getting called even after invalidating. Probably renderer. Render scene or the overlay. So even if when it comes to the overlay, that is selected. So we have image manager is in fact being passed in here. Line number 159. it is returned from here. Loading state, that is the problematic thing already. So it needs to be loaded by the time it actually arrives here. In that case image manager, not even this part here. There should be images only. Use image uploader and there is the change whenever we change our functionality. Loading. The value is always loaded. What am I missing? If it were loaded both the times, so why wasn't it visible initially? And what if there's some other change? It mentions loading here and it mentions loaded here. Why is the difference? Cached, and in there we have the image and we have the status. Why loading and loaded when that's the same object? Yeah, now we get this loading. Loading. In fact, it was loaded and then loading. Okay. If I just remove this part, then it is visible every time. No problem with anything as such. Coming back to this, doesn't matter which image I select, that is directly visible in here. But at the end of the day, it is still in the loading state. This is something we have to change. Why is this in the loading state? And let me actually go to handle change image changer. So this is in fact called in here. Whenever this changes, that is fine, and we get just the target files. Once we got the target files, here we are. This is where we just simply upload it, and when it comes to uploading this, so we got the array of the files, promise.all files array. We are creating a blob URL over here, and then we are loading the images. So the promise image on load resolve, otherwise reject. That is also fine. Image.source is definitely gonna be in there. Then we got the image over here, that is the loaded image. After that, image.natural width and all, and the render URL is gonna be here. Page ID is gonna be here. In fact, ID is also gonna be there. As for this uploading, why do we have uploading in here? Anyway, after that, when it comes to this upload, so whenever this is called, so uploaded, image map dot object dot values of image map 98. So page number 98, here we have this. At this time, this is uploading. So something that got saved, that is in fact uploading. Just a minute, give me a sec. Alright, coming back to this. So this is done, and we just simply pass it to the preload. And when it comes to this preload stuff, so that to the image manager, over here, so at the end of the day, this actually comes to this, and over here this is always gonna be loading. So ultimately what happens, that we get the asset over here, that's the image asset, that is nothing but this. So let me log the value of that here. Coming back to this, let me get a new image altogether. So we have status uploading over here. This is in fact be uploaded in this, in that particular, but okay, that is fine. Coming back to this cache diff concurrent get and if that is already there. Then check the status. If that is loaded, return, otherwise load that is okay. Otherwise asset render.url and public.url, then image.new image, and the image that actually have the MD status of that. This image is this. New image, and source URL is set somewhere here, and the status is loading. Then we try to decode the same image, and entry is gonna be cache ref dot because back in here we definitely set the value. So we'll try to get here. If there is entry, then status is gonna be loaded. Otherwise the status is gonna be this. Alrighty, let's give it one more try. Entry loaded. This is in fact loaded by this time. Preload. Are we awaiting preload here or not? This is the problem. It needed to be awaited, because if we are not awaiting it, the inner awaits are not really gonna be running. So like this is not gonna be awaiting it to be loaded. And now it should be fine. And apart from this particular thing, that uploading is at the end of the day we preload this, and when we preload that, so the status doesn't really matter in here. That is sort of right. So coming back to this, whenever, first of all, this should ideally be working right now. So even if I switch back to the previous version and let me restart this altogether. One dev, it should be fine this time at least. Hope so, at least. Can't we just even hope? And apart from this particular thing, is this done? It is still getting compiled, that is fine. And loading the canvas, that is fine. And now if I try inserting an image, that simply appears here. So yeah, that was the problem. We were not awaiting the preload, and hence that wasn't being awaited, and the next logic was running. So that was the problem. And what is the next thing that we actually have to focus on? That is that uploading related stuff. So over here, this? This should be uploaded, bro, here. Not really uploading, because the main image is still being uploading, and this is gonna be uploaded. That is okay, but this uploading, that's not really being used, so no problem with that as such. Now let's try this. This took quite a lot of time to even fix this one, but okay, we have fixed this. Let's select a few images, just open them all. We have them here, and I'm in fact gonna create a group of these. So when it comes to a group, so let's just simply select them all. Okay, that is fine. Let's have some shapes as well. Suppose this is the first shape. Let's have the image here as well, so that this is gonna be sort of like this. So now this is the first section. Let's just simply create a group. So this is a group of 1. Let's just simply create a frame in this particular case. So this is just a frame. Let me make them smaller, and then here if I just select them all and create a top level frame. This is gonna be top level frame, and this is gonna be inner frame. Alrighty, so this is done. Let me change this color, etc. And now what we are gonna do, that we'll be selecting it all, we will be copying it from here, and we'll be pasting it here itself. So we have the shapes, but the images are not there, so pasting did not work. Why is this? If I reload the page, so pasting did not work for the images mainly. In the same page it didn't work. Forget about another one. So like if I copy it all, go to a new page altogether, delete this particular section. So we do get the shape. If we reload the page, everything gets saved, but at the end of the day we do not really have any image here. Now what is the problem? Especially when we reload the page, that simply means images are not being saved globally. No, if we reload the page we still get them, and if we just simply copy them now, come on. So there is something obvious that is missing again. If I just simply get rid of this part, it might happen. Still the same. So first of all we have to figure out the issue behind this. These images, they definitely got saved in the DB, and when we are pasting them, so the problem is the way we are pasting. Hopefully paste the shapes. So clipboard.image assets and image assets are being assigned new values. duplicating the image asset, is that a good idea or not? Image assets, I think image assets should have the same ID, so that the next time even if the shapes are being duplicated, they can use that. This particular section, coming back to this clone.data.image id, that's gonna be new image assets id. So ultimately just the id is changing of that particular image, and then we are just having everything here, so that is fine. First of all, the new shapes, they are not directly being selected, so quite a lot of things are here. Going to just take a break for now, or probably we'll get them done right here. So after a break I'm gonna be back and we'll get them done. So there are a few things. First of all, select shapes once they are tested, and then fix the bug of rendering images. So this is something that we have to focus on. So I'll be back and then we will just simply getting these two things done. Until then, bye bye, take care, and I'm gonna be catching up soon.